Welcome to Successful Philanthropy. I'm your host, Jean Schaffer. This show is designed to highlight the work of philanthropic leaders here in the United States and then beyond. Today with us, Rosita Romero. Her title, she is the Executive Director of the Dominican Women's Development Center. Rosita is here to talk about her charity and then to bring on a special guest to talk about a collaboration that the Dominican Women's Development Center is now involved with. Rosita, it is such a great honor and pleasure to have you back on the show. And for those of our viewers who have never heard anything about your organization, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes, thank you so much, Jean, for having me on the show one more time. The Dominican Women's Development Center is a 36 years old organization that was created in 1988 by a group of 9 Latina women who wanted to improve the condition of women and families in the neighborhood, but specifically the conditions that women were facing around sexism and other areas of injustice. That is why our mission is to contribute to the empowerment of all women to advance gender equality and social justice. The organization started by inviting a group of women, and we had 30 women that came, and we passed around the hat to have our first budget. And we told the women, if you want to have a space, provide services, and make and hire staff, we need to have a budget. So we passed around the hat. We asked them to contribute $1 each, and we collected $30. So we started the organization with $30 and a dream. Right now, the organization has several million dollars. It is the largest independently standing Dominican organization. We have 7 programs that were designed with the community in mind. We have ESL classes. We prepare students to succeed in college. We have early childhood education to prepare our children to succeed in school, to become alphabetized, to become literate, to have social emotional development, to be ready to succeed in school. We have programs where we do health promotion, and we also have a Healthy Families program where we help parents to become better parents, because as you know, that's something that is very difficult. There is not one specific book about how to become better parents, but we do guide the families through the different risks and challenges that they face. The last program that we have is an economic development program. Our women are interested in either working or having a small business. That is something that Dominican and other Latino women that participate in the program are very hardworking women who are interested in integrating into American society. They want to learn the language, they want to work, they want to study, and they want to have their small businesses, but in different ways contribute to the American economy.
I love what you do. Now tell me, it's so important, really, Dominican Women's Development Center and what you're doing, but how do you reach out to the community? How do they know about you? That's my first question. My second question is, how many women and children each year are involved, and how do you change their lives?
Yes, we have 80 employees, and those employees provide services to 10,000 individuals per year, including the children, the parents, uh, men, women. And we not only service Dominican women, I must say that it's important for people to know that our doors are open to all women and in the community, women, men, children, gender non-conforming individuals. And the reason why we don't experience problems recruiting individuals and they come easily to our events and participate in our services is because we are culturally competent. Our services, all our services are bilingual. We understand where people come from. We speak their language. We understand the culture. We have a very warm, open environment. We treat people like family. We know how to set the boundaries between the professional work that we have to do and the information and guidance that we have to give them. But at the same time, we are very welcoming. And that is the reason why we are able to get so many people to look for our services. We advertise in all kind of media. Um, we distribute flyers in the community. We do TV programs like this one. And our most successful way of advertising our services is word of mouth. Once you're providing the services, the word gets around and people tell other people. If you need help, you can go to the Dominican Women's Development Center. These are the addresses of the services. This is the number, and they reach out to us and we provide them with the services.
So by word of mouth and by your good reputation, people just want to come to you. I think that's fantastic. Now, you have a budget. It's millions of dollars each year. You haven't given us the number, but I think it's important for people to understand how you're able to do this work without raising money. And of course, I know you receive government funding, but private funding is key. What is your budget? And what is your wish list?
Yes, like I mentioned at the beginning, when we started 30 years ago, our budget was $30, and we have come a long way. Our budget right now is $7 million. And that money comes mostly, 90% of it still comes from government sources. That is why at this point, we are trying to expand the amount of foundation money that we get, corporations and individual donations. Because the government grants, the funds tend to be large, and that is a nice thing. However, there are many strings attached. For instance, the contracts are registered late. The money comes in late. And we are heavily monitored, and a lot of times it's difficult to deal with bureaucracies. And a lot of times we have to spend a lot of time dealing with that and the paperwork as opposed to providing services, which is what we love to do, and which is the reason why we are here in the community. So right now we are launching several campaigns. It is the season of giving. We have a number of holidays coming up. For instance, Giving Tuesday, which is going to be on December 3rd, which is the Global Day of Giving. We have the end of the year campaign, which is very important because sometimes people end up having to pay more taxes than they should. And when people donate to DWDC, it's tax deductible. So instead of giving the funding to the government, you can give it to an organization that you know it's going to go directly to the people that are being affected by different problems. This year, we are also planning to increase the amount of individual donations by launching a digital fundraising campaign where we're asking people to make a recurring donation of $10 or more, but that it will be automatically deducted from their credit cards. That way, we can have a sustainable source of income every month so that we can provide the services while we wait for government funding to be paid.
And I think it's so important for people to know that the collaboration between a government, private institutions, public institutions, individuals is all very, very important. And it enables groups, 501c3s like the Dominican Women's Development Center, to be able to provide many more services. Of course, what's needed is more funding from private individuals, corporations, and public institutions so that this group can do even more. When the government is involved, obviously it means that this organization is doing something right, because the government would not be giving money if they were not. They are being closely monitored because it's the government's money. I think that's important. But a good organization like this deserves the support of all of us. Rosita, what is the website for anyone watching this show who'd like to donate?
DWDC.org. It is the initials of the organization, Dominican Women's Development Center, DWDC.org.
Yes, and can you give us a few concrete stories of how you've changed individuals' lives? Because people relate to hearing the stories of individuals who maybe were really down in the dumps and who've come up and whose children have come up. Everyone wants to hear a success story.
Yes, I can think of so many, but one that comes to mind is this family that came to the United States 17 years ago with one child. They were undocumented. The father was working, the mother was a stay-home mom because she wanted to prioritize her children's um, caretaking. And this woman came to our early Head Start program, and she enrolled, and we started providing her with activities that she could do at home to prepare her daughter for school and become a better parent. Then she became pregnant with twins. And then we started providing her with services on how to have a healthy pregnancy. And this program helps the women throughout pregnancy, promoting breastfeeding, healthy eating, light exercise. And she had the two twins, and she continued in the program for or more years. She had a fourth child. At that time, she was able to start working after that. They've been in the program for 5 years. The father continued to work. They were able to learn English, get work, and also become documented. And right now, they have a flower shop that they own, a small business. The four girls are honor roll students and are almost always student of the month. And right now they are joining other organizations. There are two of them who are in a theater program, and they're being presented in shows. And these children have a lot of confidence. The parents have succeeded economically. They have learned the language. They've been able to get an opportunity to integrate into American society. And we have been able to help them throughout the entire process.
And
That's
what a
one.
wonderful story, and a story of success. And the organization, Dominican Women's Development Center, I must say, you've done so much for so many people. Thank you. For our audience, we are with Rosita Romero. She is the executive director of the Dominican Women's Development Center. With us today, we have another guest who is involved in partnering with the Dominican Women's Development Center. Her name, Patricia Silverstein. She is a resident of the Hamptons. And Patricia, thank you for joining us. I would like you to talk a little bit about the partnership that you now have with the Dominican Women's Development Center.
Thank you, Jean. And it's a pleasure being in this show with you both, incredible women inspiring other women and organizations around the world and around the country. So the story began last year at Somos, Puerto Rico, when I was lecturing about diabetes awareness and the importance of preventing diabetes before it's actually becoming hurtful for our bodies. So I met Rosita, and since we created this program for diabetes prevention, we thought it would be ideal to start supporting Rosita's community by teaching them in workshops in their native language, in Spanish, about the importance of nutrition, the importance of exercise, and what is really diabetes and what it does to our bodies. So the Silverstein Dream Foundation funded this first prevention study with the Dominican Women Development Center, where we've been testing all women and family members from the foundation who has type 1, type 2, or prediabetes. And now we're in the process of getting those results. And through this learning experience, we are very confident that we are going to help them improve these complications or these biomarkers, because they probably are at risk of developing other complications. So we want them to be an example of one of those communities that with the little resources they have, we can improve their health and show other communities, government institutions, schools, and society in general that prevention is key and early detection is the best way to prevent diseases. And this
Yes,
is the
now I don't want to interrupt, but I guess I have to. What we have here is a perfect example of two different 501c3s coming together so that they can improve the lives of the health of women and families who may not otherwise have a chance to improve their health and to learn about diabetes. So, Patricia, I think what you're doing is very, very important. I'm sure Rosita Romero and the Dominican Women's Foundation loves what you're doing, and we look forward to learning more about that work. Now back to Rosita. Rosita, tell us a little bit about what this work, this collaboration actually means to your group and how important it is to have this sort of collaboration.
Yes, we are very, very grateful to the Silverstein Dream Foundation. Patricia has given very valuable information to people in our community. And now with the findings of the studies that we're doing, we are hoping that it can contribute even more to help us improve our lifestyle. It is very important that we have this type of collaboration between nonprofit and private foundations and individuals, because the success of the organization, our ability to provide more services, depends on the strategic alliances that we make with all different sectors. And the alliance that we have made with the Silverstein Dream Foundation has been a very excellent one. We honor Patricia this year at the 36th anniversary gala. She was a wonderful honoree. She was very supportive. She was able to invite other donors to the organization. And that is what we are hoping, that the people that are seeing this program will also approach us, not only to make donations, but to collaborate in projects that they are interested in. They can volunteer. We can do a lot of things together to improve the condition of women, families, and all entities in our community.
Yes, and I've been watching this organization very carefully. I myself was honored in 2018 along with Lin-Manuel Miranda at their annual gala. And of course, I've been a donor because I believe in the work of the Dominican Women's Development Center. Patricia, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I think the most important for the work of all of us and the work of the Dominican Women Development Center that we have the audience and we can reach those women and those great supporters that don't probably know us yet, so they can find us through Jean, through Rosita, or through myself, so we can keep supporting and making these programs even bigger and more impactful.
Thank you. And back to Rosita. Rosita, we're almost ending this show. I think it's so important, the work you do. One thing very important, what advice would you give to a young family who's new in this country, who maybe is struggling to make ends meet? They want to integrate into the American society. They want to be successful. They want their children to be successful. What advice do you give to them? I know what advice I would give, but I want to hear from you because you once were an immigrant yourself.
Yes, hard work and dedication are key to our success. Our own education, the education of our children. We need to be able to become educated so that our income can increase, so that we can create generational wealth, so that people are able to succeed and reach the American dream. And that is what we do in our organization. We help them learn the language, find jobs, improve their education, prepare the children for success, and we help them with other challenges that they have in their life by providing them with health insurance, with training, information, counseling, guidance, support. We have an excellent program against domestic violence, and that is something that sometimes can be a challenge in all communities for women to advance. We support the women, we contribute to their empowerment to end violence in their life. And if you, the audience here, support the organization by donating at dwdc.org, whether you make a one-time donation or whether you make a donation for Giving Tuesday for the end of the year or for the recurring monthly donation, it will all be appreciated, and it will help to make a big difference in the lives of women, children, and other individuals that we provide services in the community.
Yes, and for all the people watching this show, especially the young people, I say if you want to be a success, you have to work hard, become educated, or go to a trade school where you can learn a career. Be an honest person, be a kind person, and you will succeed. Remember, hard work, honesty, kindness, be a nice person. Don't be an arrogant person. You will be a success. This concludes Successful Philanthropy. Our guests today, Rosita Romero and Patricia Silverstein. Rosita is the Executive Director of the Dominican Women's Development Center. Our second guest, Patricia Silverstein of the Silverstein Foundation. I'm Jean Schaffer, your host. I'll see you next week.